Well, here we are then for another F1 2021 League Racing video. And this one is one that I've been waiting to bring to you guys because I've been looking forward to this one. It's the start of a new era. This was the first league race I did since moving into my new place, as you can tell by the background. And for this particular race, I pretty much jumped into this very under practice. I've done about an hour before the race and that was it, because I'd still been moving stuff in and I was so busy I hadn't had a chance to really practice for this one. And it's a big race. So let me explain. First of all, if you haven't seen the previous race, guys, the results are on screen right now. Then go check it out. I'll leave a link up in the top right. But looking at the championship, it's me in second place, my teammate Lewis Welch in third, and Samuel Bean leads the way. The gap is quite large, but heading into this race, Sam Bean does have a 10-second time penalty to be added to his final race time, carrying over from the last race due to an incident. So we've got a massive opportunity today to try and hopefully get some points back on him. The issue is, as I mentioned before, I haven't practiced, and you can see proof of that right away in qualifying. On my very first run, we spin on the inside curb of turn 2. So yeah, we're going to try and do our best. We are going to be up against it, but if we can have a good race, then we may have a chance. Flores again, I swear to God, second race in a row. And as you can see there, Flores Villa's getting in the way on my second run. Similar to WOR Mexico recently as well, where the exact same thing happened with him as well. But nonetheless, I think I'm aiming for P11 here, to be honest. You can hear me say we're going to push on. The lap was okay. My personal best is a 27.8, like a mid-8 in practice. So if I can achieve that, I'll be happy. And yeah, pretty much we finished that lap. It wasn't spectacular. Can't people just get out of the way normally? Fucking hell. Now you can hear my frustration, as you can hear me say there. Can't people just get out of the way normally? But yeah, second time in 2 races, Forrest has got my way, and it pretty much put not an end to my lap, but it just kind of distracted me a little bit and cost me a bit of time. But nonetheless, 28.0, not too bad for a banker. Currently P15 though, so we need to improve as Lewis Welch goes P1, my teammate. So I'm pretty much relying on him to do a job today and carry the points. I'm going to try and do my best to be a rear gunner today. But here we go, into turn 1, which feeds into turn 2. I run way too wide, not getting the apex of any of the 2 corners. Luckily the exit's pretty good, so we find a bit of time. And then into the S's. Now, it depends how brave you are through here, but you want to be touching the inside curbs. The issue is they can spin you off very easily. So I chose to stay off them. Up through Dunlop curve, this time no traffic, and we're going to be a fraction up heading across the first sector split, making our way into the Degners. This is where I actually nailed these quite nicely, both of them, to be honest. We found quite a bit of time and went out 10th up, heading up towards the Kobayashi curve, aka the hairpin. Third gear, trying to keep the car super tight, and then quickly short shifting on the exit, and we're now 2/10 up here as we find an extra 10th. Keep the car tight to the right because there's a lot of time to find, and then up towards Spoon at the 50, brake and turn in. Don't touch the inside curb on the first left or the second one. Use all the runoff. We don't quite get the apex of the second one. I tried using a higher gear and it didn't really work. It backfired on me as we got some understeer, and I didn't really get the apex. But still, second sector, we're 2/10 up, and it's all down to the final chicane, the Casio triangle. What can we do here? Under braking at the 100, down a third, aggressive over the curbs. Make sure you do that to maximize lap time. Clean on the exit. We have a slight little snap there, but keeping it tight to the right. DRS open across the line. Yes. PB, only P10 though. PBE, I was pretty happy with that, to be honest with you. You know, overall, after all the practice that I've done, which was only an hour, to do a 27.7, that's not bad. And only 2 and a bit tenths off pole. Again, with an hour's practice, pretty decent. But the issue is, for the second race in succession after Canada last race, we start from P10, which is not ideal because, of course, everyone behind has the free choice of tyre, and everyone ahead is in a better position. P10 is that position you don't want to start in because it isn't really great for strategy. But nonetheless, we'll try and do our best and see what happens. So, yeah, that's it for qualifying. Let's move into the action in the race. Right, let's do this. At the end of the formation lap. Now, I want to mention my microphone was a bit quiet for this one. Going back to the whole, I've recently moved in, so things weren't really fully set up. So I may just talk over myself at certain points in this if I can't really hear things too well. But yeah, here we go then. Soft tyres on. We're going to try and make things work. So 5 lights for the Japanese Grand Prix. Championship leader Sam Bean just in front of us in P8. As we get off the line, we fly away. getting Dylan Warren straight away and up into P9. Sam Bean getting a flyer 3 wide up ahead into turn 1. Akinci backs off, and we try to challenge him around the outside, but we get a boatload of understeer, which allows Warren back through on the inside in the McLaren, and we have to yield and give back the place. So bit of an unfortunate one. I took a risk and it backfired because I ended up losing the place that I gained off the start, so not ideal.
Antoine's in the lead.
I did get one off the line, but I fucking ran wide out of turn 2, so I've lost the place again.
So yeah, Antoine Desalewski in P1 right now. Luke Smith, I believe, in P2.
Who's going to be the stupid one to go for the dive on the hairpin?
As you can hear me say, who's going to be the stupid one to go for the dive? As we go up to the hairpin, there is a car having a look, but luckily we brake late enough and managed to hold a decent enough line to stay ahead.
Queen's 5th.
Yeah, he's been aggressive.
Now you can hear my teammate Lewis Welch. He's in P3, I believe. You can hear his surprise hearing that Sam Bean, the championship leader, is up to P5, but he's been pushed off the track by John Evans there at Spoon in a bit of a battle.
Oh, they're banging balls, they are.
And you can even say they're banging tyres as we make our way down towards 130R for the first time. So as it stands, from what I can tell and more or less what I can guess, Desalewski P1, Luke Smith P2, Lewis Welch P3, P4 I think is Jack Laverty, I think, and then P5 is John Evans ahead of Sam Bean. So yeah, that's more or less the run through right now as we make our way out of the final chicane for the first time in this race. 2-1 action between Akinci and Norberto up ahead. I'm not going to use too much battery because ERS is very, very hard to charge around here. You have to try and manage it as best as possible. So we're not going to go too nuts on that. Warren goes up the inside of Akinci into turn 2. Interesting move as we have a bit of a moment on the eggs and we have to just back off to regain control.
So be careful because the softs are hard to get back when overheating.
You can hear Lewis say that the softs are hard to get back once they start to overheat.
Trying to also get that tyre wear back on target as well.
So yeah, I'm also running quite warm tyres because I finished my final lap in Q3 and let the AI do the in lap for me. I'm carrying a couple percentage more wear, but now Warren makes a mistake into taking the 2, and we're going to slip through here. He runs it in a bit hot. We get the drive, and we send it and make the move. To counteract, Warren makes the dive, contact at the hairpin. It turns out afterwards he accidentally left the car in 5th gear. For some reason the downshift didn't go through, and that basically creates the understeer that he had to drive into the side of me. So in the process, Neon gets through. He started outside the top 10 but went for a set of softs and has made that work. So fair play. We're now P9 again. So we've made up our first place in this race, and we're starting to find that confidence. You know, like I said, I've been running minimal practice, so it's not been easy, but now you can see, end of lap 3, Akinci runs in a bit hot into the chicane, and that's going to put me right on his gearbox as we open DRS, and I'm going to commit here with purple sector 3, personal best into a high 31. We're going to go for this. Using the battery, we're going to try and force our car on the inside. Akinci leaves the door wide open into 1 and 2, so we're going to take that and slip through, trying to make the move here, side by side into the S's. This is going to be tight. You've got to be careful with the front and inside curves because they're going to be really, really slippy, but we make the move around the outside. It's lovely, and we're up into P8. An absolutely dynamite overtake there, and a crucial move as we gain another place and move up into P8. So we needed that, and yeah, really happy with that as we now can race after Norberto, and then after that, hopefully Sam Bean, and keep the championship leader in our sights. Again, reminder, Sam Bean is going to be taking a 10-second time penalty at the end of this race. So he's going to drop a long way back here today. So yeah, first warning for track limits on lap number 5. Bit of a silly one as we just got distracted for a second there, lost focus, and I got one on the exit spoon. But yeah, right now we're just going through a bit of a phase, trying to charge the battery back up after that overtake on Akinci, and keeping the tyre temps under control, trying to regain some tyre wear as well. But now, you're going to see, I believe, the first pit stop take place from Jack Laverty, who was on pole position. So a very early stop on lap 5 onto lap 6. And that is going to trigger a bit of a domino effect because everyone wants to respond to that. So you're going to see now, end of lap 6, most cars are going to pit earlier than scheduled because obviously everyone wants to cover off that pit stop from Jack Laverty, the pole man. So Lewis is going to pit, a few other cars are going to pit as well. And we're going to stay out for one more lap here because, of course, we are the second car on track, so Lewis gets preference in the pit stops. So, yeah, fair enough. As we head out for one more lap, I'm going to drain the battery a bit on this one as well to try and push on the in lap. The pace from Norberto and Sam Bean was quite strong, actually. I wasn't quite able to keep up as I didn't have DRS, but now we're going to all head into the pit lane And of course the esports pit assist is on, so that there's no lollipops being held up, and it's absolutely fair for everybody. So yeah, we're going to box, we're going to go for the mediums.
Hello Hayden, good to see you mate. How you doing?
And yeah, just someone in my chat, Hayden Gullis of course from Veloce, who joined, but underweight.
Hope you well mate. I struggle to keep an eye on chat during league races, but hope you enjoy. You doing what? Someone's got a penalty, just off the head.
I got the greetings out of the way, as I believe I got a raid from Hayden Gullis, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And look at this, we're going to rejoin just ahead of Neon, who did pit the previous lap. We're ahead of Akinci as well, still. Now the one thing that we have lost out
Lost out just to Dylan.
as you can hear, is Warren. He went for, I believe, a 2-lap undercut, or at least a 1-lap undercut, and he's managed to jump us, so he's back ahead in the McLaren. So twice I've passed him, twice he's got back ahead, which is really frustrating. So yeah, right now he's got the fastest lap. He's been pushing pretty hard on those mediums, and once most guys on the soft done their stops, there was one more guy who didn't pit, and that was Christian Hausman. He went very long. He committed to the original strategy, pitting around lap 10. And he's going to be the last car to get off the soft tire. So we're chilling now, P16.
What?
Oh no. Who was it?
Exit. He's never racing again.
Fuck's sake.
Oh. Now, unfortunately, Lewis Welch gets caught up in an incident between him and Luke Smith. He got the short straw and ended up being spun out on the exit of turn 2. And unfortunately, a race where it was going so well and my teammate looked so strong, it's in the mud, and a first bit of bad luck in a long time for Lewis Welch, as we've both been on a pretty good run lately, but here we are catching up to Floris Viers now in the Ferrari. He's got some decent going on as well for good measure, which isn't going to help, as you can see.
So much with DRS.
We lagged right through him at 130. Yeah, that could have been pretty scary and quite a bad crash, but
Cancel over again.
because of Floris dropping through the field, it's created a bit of a separation. So Antoine Dezaluski out front, the race leader, has managed to pull out a gap on his own and is currently chilling out front. After that, you've got Luke Smith leading a train of cars, which has, I believe, I want to say John Evans, Samuel Bean, Dylan Warren, Norberto, and myself in that order. So, yeah, you can see we're all running in a train right now. And I'm going to try and go for this up the inside of Norberto into the brake zone of the Casio Triangle. And we managed to leave a bit of room on the left. And we're going to leave the corner exit side by side here as we go for a drag race down to the first corner. DRS wide open, as looks like we got ahead before the yellow flag, and now into turn 1 we're going to get the inside line and make that work. So another beautiful overtake, a bit of contact, but generally it was pretty clean and space was left at all times. And yeah, we're now P12 in this race. A few cars have started to pit, and we're going to have a few more pitting, I believe, on this lap as we gradually recuperate our original positions from the guys on the alt strap. In this case, we've got Sam McBride and Andreas Dormeyer pitting for softs, and you can see now all the way to lap 16 we've got Dormeyer behind. He's on soft tyres, but he's not really catching that much because we're all running in a train right now, and the medium frankly is the better race tyre. We've got I believe a few more cars in the pits there, including Paris, and we're now P7, so this is our net position, I believe, in the race right now. So yeah,
Everyone's pushing again. Everyone's trying to hold back on the battery.
you can hear me say everyone's pushing again. We're going to try and set some battery as Dylan Warren goes up the inside of Sam Bean.
Dylan and Sam Bean side by
Yeah,
side for turn 1.
This is going to be quite tasty as they go side by side now into the S section here. Oh my god.
Contact. Oh yes, Sam's off and Dylan's in trouble. Sam's off though. There's your points.
It's already beaten him.
So Sam Bean, the championship leader, off the track, and he already had a 10-second time penalty, and he's gone off at the S's. Contact with Dylan Warren, bit of a racing incident there. Now the frustrating thing is, I should be P5 right now because we've been ahead of Dylan twice this race, but because of the undercut, he got ahead of me, and I know he's really fast around here, so it's going to be really hard to pass him. But we've got him, we've got John Evans ahead of him, we've got Jack Laverty, and Luke Smith, I believe. So all the way to lap 24 now.
Jack's out of battery. John's going for it.
And you can hear me say Jack Laverty is out of battery. Also, he was the first one to pit.
Caution.
So Jack's struggling for battery and tyres. Now, Warren's going to pass him here, but he passes him on the yellow flag, so he has to move over to let him back through. I'm going to try and use this to make a move around the outside. Currently, we do it for the third time, not quite into turn 2, and Warren stays ahead. But John Over makes the pass, and we're going to try and put some pressure on these two.
Jack's got no pace. Did he pit with you?
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
Did he pit with you? Last time
Lap
lap.
before. Going before me.
Oh wow, you have no cars left now.
Yeah, I'm at 6.5%.
So into the final chicane. I thought about going for the dive, but Jack does cover the space quite well, placing his car quite nicely. Now, I've got a lot more battery than both of these guys. I can afford to drain my battery, and that's what we're going to try and do here as we open DRS. We're going to commit to this. Larity, his light's flashing, he's got no energy. We're going to commit. Warren also out of battery, but we get boxed in into turn 1 here. Oh, no. No. Oh, my God. That was close. No, Jack's gone.
Oh my fucking god. I think I got damage.
Mind that front
Oh, I
wing.
got damage.
It'll need replacing if it takes too much
Oh.
damage. Those tyres are going
That's
to
my
fall off
bad.
the cliff soon. Take extreme care.
Oh, that was it, man. Shit.
Now you can hear a lot has happened, but we have front wing damage on the left front end plate. I tried to turn in very early there to try and compensate, and we ended up getting a second warning for track limits.
This is your chance, man. I'm fucking in trouble.
So we need to survive a lap and a half, holding off a few soft runners behind with wing damage. I don't have a load of battery. I used quite a bit in that attempted overtake, but yeah, if you watch it back, it's kind of a racing incident. I should have turned in a bit more. I got distracted and I got put off a little bit because Warren covered up the apex, so I couldn't really aim for the corner that well, and I ended up just turning in a bit too late. Also, Jack did pinch me a little bit, so I think a bit of 50-50. I weren't too concerned about it. Racing incident, we move on. Bit of bad luck with a bit of wing damage, but we're going to try and hold on. So we're P5 right now. If we can bring this home, this would be a massive, massive result, but it's not over yet. Sam McBride to the outside on the softs. We managed to bait him into a move. He actually backs off, and that allows me to get a pretty good exit, to be honest with you. Really good traction out of there, heading onto the last lap. And here comes Sam McBride again. We're going to drain our entire battery to try and keep him behind. We're going to be on the inside again, into the first corner, up outside. I'm going to hold on, but I can't quite manage it, and I have to let him go. We got damage on that inside curb. It destabilized the car, and I just can't quite, hold on. But we're going to try and still hang it out with P6. If we can bring this home, this would be some massive, massive points for us. And I'm just trying to be smart with my driving. So I know Dormeyer is probably going to wait for the back straight, 130R heading into the final chicane. But nonetheless, I'm expecting a move at any point, and the first one is going to be this hairpin. If he doesn't pass me here, I know he's going to wait for the final chicane. So we're going to cover the inside, force him the long way around, and then we can, we can hold on to that all day. We can defend that all day. We place our car beautifully, get the car slowed down, get some nice clean traction. There's no way he's going to pass me to here, and all we've got to do is make sure we get a nice clean exit out of Spoon. If we can do that, we're looking pretty good. We're going to get a slight tow, I think, from Sam, possibly, as the gap does start to go up, though, unfortunately.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Oh, I've got puncture.
Oh no.
As you can hear, Lewis Walsh does get a puncture on the last lap. Here comes Dormeyer. He's not using battery. He's not committing. Now he's using it, but he actually hits me in the back into 130 yards. I don't use my battery. Now, under braking, I'm going to try and match him on the mediums with wing damage. We're going to go the long way around. It's going to be so, so close. Under traction, though, it's going to be a run to the line.
Yes, come on. Come on. Yes, come on. Come on. Yes.
Woo. What about that? What about that finish? We just hold on to P6 by 7 1,000ths of a second. And my God, what a race. It could have been better. I mentioned it before, but we was ahead of Dylan. It could have been P4 today. And considering I had an hour's practice and started P10 on the softs, that was a blinding race. We, by far, I think, done the best moves. I think it was a really good, well-calculated race, with those overtakes, especially the one on Akinci in the S's and Norberto on the braking as well. Some really good battling, holding off pretty much 2 full laps on medium tyres with wing damage at the end. Yeah, a really strong drive, one of my better ones of the season. And even though I didn't practice, I was really pleased and satisfied with that performance because the car was working really, really well. So, yeah, overall, a shame because if I'd been a bit more stable with my schedule and had moved in a bit earlier, I could have practiced more, and dare I say, the pace would have been quite strong and I could have done a much better race. But still, I'm not going to complain. It is what it is. Sam Bean, after that incident, recovers the P9, and even with his penalty after the race, I think he's still going to score a point because of all the other cars around him. So, yeah, we're going to now jump into the championship standings after that race. So, let's break it down. You can see on screen, the point system in PSGL is slightly different, but we are going to gain 4 points on Sam Bean. Not what I wanted, but 4 is better than nothing considering I got an hour's practice and I would have shaken your hand at the start of the event if that was the case. So the gap's still quite large, and with 5 races to go, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or 4 races to go, it's going to be quite tricky, but we'll give it a best shot. 100 points up for grabs. We can still fight back. If not, we're going to focus on getting P2 and P3 in the drivers and locking down the constructors, because we're P1 right now and we've got about a 15-point gap, so we're chilling at the moment in the constructors. So you know what, I'll take that. That's pretty decent. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today, guys, for this episode of PSGL. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, as always, for daily F1 content and league racing content as well. I'll do my team and all that good stuff. As always, a big shout out goes to the channel members, and finally check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them. But that is it from me here today, and I'll see you guys next time.